Do not put spray foam in your house. In this video, I'm going to give you several reasons why you should not use spray foam insulation in your house. We built this house about 2.5 years ago in 2018. The house is about 1,900 square feet, not including the basement. The exterior walls are 2x6, so they're pretty thick. One good thing I'll tell you about spray foam is that it does help with the outside noise. The road that I live on can get pretty busy sometimes, and you can't really hear the traffic that much inside. Of course, I've got cheaper windows. They're only single hung vinyl windows, but the walls are so thick with that 2x6 construction, and then I've got that spray foam in there, blah, 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 blah. Here's a desk that I've been working on for a couple of weeks. All of my exterior walls and the roof of my house are spray foamed. Down here in the basement, we got 2x6 construction on the exterior walls, and you can see they are completely filled up with spray foam. Everything is sealed up tight. This spray foam is in the exterior walls from down here in the basement to all the way up here in the attic. This is the exterior wall in the attic, and of course this is my roof. Everything is spray foamed and sealed up tight. One problem with having spray foam in the house is sealed up too tight, and this fireplace does not draw good. We'd love to have a fireplace going in the wintertime. You can see the black here on the brick where the smoke is always coming into the living room instead of going up the chimney. And it's got this little vent here thing on the side. I've always got it open. It's like an air control thing. Sometimes I'll open up a window a couple of inches and it seems to help. I guess it really, when you stand in front of that window, you can just feel the cold air being sucked into the window, and I guess it's being sucked right up into the chimney. A lot of times this fireplace will be drawing good and all the smoke will be going up the chimney, and then randomly it'll just start rolling into the living room and filling up the living room. I've heard that weather outside, low cloud coverage, or maybe low pressure in the atmosphere, it can be basically kind of pushing down and cause drawing problems with the fireplace. But I've never had problems in any of our other houses. We've had so many fires before. This is the only house I've had this problem. Another problem with having spray foam in your house, and it seals up the house so tight, in the kitchen, whenever we're cooking or we're boiling water, we cannot get a good draw, just like the fireplace. This vent, this hood vent, does not always work very well. I think the house is sealed up so tight, it can't really pull air up there. So a lot of times you'll see this, the smoke or the steam, whatever, it's just kind of rolling over in front of the hood vent. It's not really going up. One problem with that, obviously you're cooking greasy things. Eventually your cabinets are going to just get covered in steam and grease. What I have to do sometimes when we're in here cooking is actually open a nearby window, just like I do with the fireplace. And if it's the winter time, well then you're letting all that cold air in. But if you're standing in front of that window, you can feel it's just sucking the air in. And this will start to work better. It'll really start sucking that steam or the whatever. It'll start really pulling it out of the house a lot better once you crack the window. Another problem with spray foam that seals up your house so tight, whenever we hang up clothes or towels in our house, they never dry. A lot of times when we get out of the shower, get out of the bath, we'll hang up a towel. You're just drying off with clean water, so we'll try to use that towel 3 or 4 times and not have to wash so many loads of clothes. The towel will hang there till the next day, then you get out of the shower again, you grab the towel, it's still damp. It also smells funky, it smells sour. The towels will not dry just hanging here. I've never had this problem in any other house. Sometimes we also hang up laundry. Maybe it's a sweater or some kind of shirt, something that you don't want to go into the dryer, and we'll try to lay it over a chair, hang it up somewhere in the house. It will not dry. It takes forever to dry. It stays damp for a long time, and that causes it to get sour and funky smelling. The problem with the towels and the clothes not getting dry in the house or taking several days to get dry, I think that is a humidity issue. One thing I can do is get a whole house dehumidifier, but my problem is I'm going to have 2. I've got 2 units, one for the main floor and one for upstairs. Currently, the only dehumidifier I have in my house is this little portable unit in the basement. We've had this thing for a couple of years and it works pretty good, but it is just not big enough. I think this little unit is probably controlling the humidity in the basement pretty good, but it's not doing anything for the main floor or the upstairs. Now in the summertime, especially when it rains, I probably have to dump this thing out 2 times a day. In the wintertime, when it's cold and the humidity is lower outside, I might go 3 or 4 days without dumping this thing out. I had an HVAC guy tell me a couple years ago that generally, as long as you control the humidity in the basement or the crawl space, then the rest of the house should be okay. But I feel like in a house that has been spray foamed and sealed up so tight like mine, I don't think that's the case. I really feel like I need a whole house dehumidifier. I need something in the basement, I need something on the main floor and the upper floor. Whenever we have someone that is in the bath or in the shower and you're creating steam, I'm always fussing at them. Make sure you turn the fan on. But I honestly don't even think these exhaust fans are working that good. I think it's probably because the house is sealed up so tight. Just like the hood vent downstairs, if this fan does not have air to pull, if it can't suck any air, it can't push all that steam outside. I've owned houses before where as long as you have that fan on, every time you run a really hot shower, the mirrors will never steam up. The bathrooms in our house, the mirrors are going to get steamed up because I really feel like these fans are not pulling any air. Now maybe I could put a bigger fan, better quality type of fan, but I really don't think that's going to matter. If the fan has no air to pull, it's not going to exhaust all that steam out of the house. Of course, you can try to open a window and it seems to work better, but in the middle of wintertime, you're in a shower and you've got the window open, and when you step out, it's freezing. That's not very comfortable. Another good thing that I will say about the spray foam is that in your attic areas, it makes for a comfortable and clean environment. A lot of times you might have blown in insulation that's everywhere. And of course, you're going to be very hot in the summer, very cold in the winter. We recently had some HVAC work done. I think it was last July. And when the guy pulled up and I told him the unit's in the attic, he looked a little disappointed, like he was going to have a bad day. But once he got up here and saw how clean it was, how comfortable it was, because this space in the attic is pretty much the same temperature as the rest of the house, he was very happy. He spent a few hours up here working, had plenty of space to get to everything, and he was comfortable while he was working. Why did we want to use spray foam in this house? I've wanted spray foam for a long time. When we were planning on building this house and I was designing it, I thought that spray foam would be a good thing to make the outside road noise quieter and also utility cost. I thought by keeping the house sealed up as tight as possible, we would have very low utility cost. Now we don't have gas in this house. All we have is total electric. And it's possible that the utility bills are lower. There's a couple of other complications we're having that I'm not going to get into in this video. But I do think that we're able to run the unit less and stay more comfortable. If I had to do it all over again, I would not use spray foam. I would use regular batt insulation in the walls. Now maybe I would go a little bit thicker. Since our house is 2x6 and I want to get a better R value, I would just put maybe a better quality insulation or something a little thicker to get a better R value, but I would not use spray foam. As far as the attic goes, up in the ceiling, I really don't know. I don't like blown in insulation. I've had some bad experiences working in the attic with blown in insulation. I really don't want that stuff. But now I'm thinking, you know, if I ever have a leak in the ceiling, how am I going to know? I think the spray foam is going to kind of prevent me from finding leaks, or it's going to make the leak travel more. I wish I knew this information back when I was building this house. I would probably just use blown in insulation in the ceiling, and bat in the walls. Or maybe even in the attic, you can probably put bat up in the rafters. Still have a nice clean floor, but have bat insulation up there in the rafters. So then maybe you can still have a conditioned space up in the attic. In the other houses that I've owned, now we live in Georgia, so we have pretty mild winters, but when it's cold outside, at nighttime your house is cold, you got the heat on. When I leave for work, I might turn the heat down so it's not running so much all day. And then the sun comes up, that Georgia sun comes up, and it might get into the 50s or 60s. And your house will kind of warm up. If you've got a normal bat insulation type house, it'll kind of warm up. But this house stays freezing. It's like the outside sun does not warm up the inside of this house. There were times when we lived in our other houses and we could go a month maybe in like September or April. In the spring and the fall, we might go an entire month and not even turn the HVAC unit on because the house, the sun warms it up enough and then it's just comfortable all the time. But this house, it traps the wrong temperature. It's hard to explain, but this spray foam is just a nightmare. It's causing so many problems. You go to work and you come home in the afternoon and it's nice. It's a winter day, but it's pretty warm outside, and you walk in the house and it's freezing in here because it has trapped cold air all day. The same thing in the summertime or the spring. Maybe it's kind of a warm, cool day, whatever. You walk into the house and it is scorching hot in here because it has just trapped some hot air. Instead of the house kind of balancing itself, like I've lived in other houses that the house will almost balance itself with the outside air sometimes. You don't have to run the HVAC unit and it's very comfortable when you walk in. This house, it's just nothing but problems. I would tell everybody, do not put spray foam in your house.